The teaching that I'm going to talk about immediately is when the Creator called the animals together. The Creator was preparing the earth for the arrival of the human beings, and already the animals had come to the earth and were living on the earth. So the Creator called them all together, and He told the animals, I am going to create the human being, and the human being will be arriving on the earth. So He told the animals to take care of this human being, that this human being will not be anything like the animals, and that this human being was going to be weak and vulnerable, but will be powerful in their prayer. So the animals told the Creator, well, will this human being be like us? And then the Creator said, no, this human being will need to be taken care of. So the animals made a commitment to the Creator that they would take care of this human being, and this human being would be arriving on the earth with the Creator's blessing. The animals were told by the Creator, this human being will need to be taken care of in a way that they would need clothing, and they would need to hunt, and they would need to survive from the earth. So the Creator told the animals, you must take care of this human being in that way. So all the animals came forward and they made a commitment to the Creator, and they said, yes, we will. We will take care of this human being. So after that conversation was done, after all this sharing was done with the Creator went back into the spirit world where the Creator resides. And the next teaching after that is the human birth story, the human birth teaching. Before we were given our human birth, there was no such a thing as German, Dakota, Lakota, or Cree, or Ukrainian, where the Creator is. And before we were born, the Creator decided when we would be born. So when that time came, we would make our journey to this flame. It's called Mantuskutio. This Mantuskutio is Creator's flame. It's translated into the Creator's flame. We make our journey to that Creator's flame, and it's shaped like a sun. It's like the shape of a sun. And you go to that flame and you take a tiny flame from it and you put it on the top of your head. And when you put it on the top of your head where the soft spot is, it becomes your soul flame. It becomes your soul. And that's when it's decided whether you will be male or female and what nation you'll be born into. And when you're born into that nation, you're born into that nation's responsibilities and obligations. So when you make your journey to the earth, and you're born into your human birth, you're born with this Creator's flame. It is said that when you're born with it, you're connected with all of humankind because of that soul flame. This is how come, as Indigenous people, one of our most sacred greetings or sayings is, all my relations. It's because of that teaching. All our relations are everyone in the earth, as well as all of the human beings, because of this teaching. And after that human birth is finished and we're born into our human family, there is another teaching for the Cree people that is taught to them. The women are very sacred and very profound in the way that they welcome the children into the nation. Yakuma isku atmun kawiatmuyan. This is the women's teaching that I will be speaking about. When a child is born into the Cree nation, there is a very sacred ceremony that is done. And it's the women that gather this lodge together, and is called a welcoming into our nation ceremony. And the children, when a child is born, this lodge is set up, and all of the elder women are brought into that lodge, and it's a very a prayerful lodge. And then when the child is brought in there, and then the eldest woman, the Okitsitausko, will carry this child, and this child is spoken to like an adult, and this child is told, "This is who I am." The elder woman introduces herself to this child, and this child is said, "Yakumania iksumita kumtan." The elder woman introduces herself and tells this child, "This is who I am to you, and this is how you're related to me in this nation. You are born to the Cree Nation. You are born for the Cree Nation." And when she's done, the child is handed to the next grandmother, and so on and so on. Every one of the women introduces themselves to this child, and this child is therefore welcomed into the Cree Nation because they're born for the Cree Nation. This is how our children are supposed to be welcomed, but this ceremony has been put aside for now. It's not gone, it's not extinguished by any means, but it's needs to be revitalized in the future, maybe soon, I'm not sure, but this is how we welcomed our children. And after the women are done, for a little while, when the belly button is still on the baby, the men cannot touch the baby. And this is where the women say that when a child is first born, that is the closest you will ever get to the Creator as a human being, because the soul flame is so pure and so powerful at that moment. Its connection to the Creator is so powerful that the Creator said that is the closest you will ever get to the spirit world, is through that newborn child. So when that child is still carrying that belly button, the men cannot carry the child. The father may be allowed to carry the baby, but it's when the belly button drops and the belly button is taken away, then the men are allowed to carry this child in a very similar ceremony as what the women will do. And then this is when the child is named as well. And it's not a name that's given by a human being. The name is given to that child from the spirit world. And this is another ceremony that's done, and that child is chosen from the spirit world, from a spirit keeper, and that child keeps that name till the end of their days, and that spirit keeper stays by their side and protects them for as long as they walk this earth. And the men are responsible for the naming of this child as well. And this child carries the characteristics of that spirit keeper. For example, if a child is named after the brown bear is known as a very protective spirit of the children. That child that's taken on that name will take on the protectiveness of that bear. And the same with the thunderbird, the hummingbirds, all these different spirit keepers. When they care for that child, they walk with that child in many different ways. They're responsible to nurture that child in different ways as well.